My name is Roy Gates. I was in the Band of Brothers, which was made famous by this miniseries that they did and the books that have been written about it and so forth. I was platoon leader of the 3rd Platoon of E Company. We were in Berchtesgaden, where Hitler had his eagle's nest.
My name is Tom Wolfe. I was in the United States Army Infantry, 1965, 1967, squad leader with a Davy Crockett platoon. We were a tactical nuclear weapons outfit. We were deployed in Europe, but for a very brief period of time we were deployed over to Asia.
I'm Hugh Morris, and I spent 20 years in the Air Force. I retired as a lieutenant colonel. In Vietnam, I flew O2s. We were flying about 110 hours a month, every month. It was a psychological warfare mission. We were down low, under 5,000 feet, and occasionally right down on the deck.
My name is Tom McGee, and I was a second lieutenant and on active duty during the mid-50s of U.S. Army. And thank goodness that was times of peacetime.
My name is Tom Brooks. I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. I served from 1955 through 1975. The Vietnam War, I was in Vietnam and in Thailand. I was based in Thailand, but I was in and out of Vietnam. The war in Iraq is very personal to me, not only because I'm a veteran, but because I have 2 sons that are veterans of those wars. Both of them have been in harm's way too many times.
The soldiers in the military have done their job. We've got to make sure that we have a commander-in-chief who doesn't abuse these people's good services.
The most important feature of a commander-in-chief is to have a steady hand and not to be ill-tempered, so to speak, and to respect human life, because anytime you make a decision to enter conflict, then you're risking people's lives, and there's nothing more precious to the United States than the young men and women that serve.
And you need to know that there's somebody at the helm that's intelligent enough to understand what's going on, that has a grasp of world events, somebody that's even-tempered. It's not going to be a cowboy and shoot first and ask questions later.
When you talk about a commander-in-chief, first of all, you need someone that's highly intelligent. You don't want him, people say, oh, well, you can invite George Bush to your backyard barbecue. I don't want my president at my backyard barbecue. I want him taking care of business, and I hope he's a lot smarter than I am.
I really believe with all my heart that Obama has the smarts to pick the right people, to not only pick the right people, but listen.
The commander-in-chief supposedly is the only person who gets all of the information, all of the intelligence information that this country has at its discretion and disposal to make these decisions. You've got to have a person who can analyze this information and make decisions about what it means and what our responses should be.
I don't think George Bush has the interest of getting us out. I think the current administration, to even discuss about it, they'd have to discuss failure, and they don't want to do that. I think we need a change.
I am so disgusted with this administration for going into the Iraq War, and I campaigned loud and long to every congressman and senator that would listen for about 6 months before this actually happened.
I think we went to Iraq under false pretenses. I am particularly concerned that our commander-in-chief in this situation did not go after the people that murdered 3,000 of our people, of our citizens.
I had lived in the Middle East for 5 years between 77 and 82 in the capital Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. And I said, hey, if you open that, it's like opening the gates of hell. It's a Pandora's box, and you're never going to be able to put everything back in there.
If you're going to ask good, competent, loyal soldiers to go to war for you, then this country should be responsible for their well-being.
And I am not comfortable with us going into a conflict under false pretenses and not having any idea when and how we're going to get out of there.
Senator Obama, it seems to have a lot more concern for what's going on with the troops and what we need to do in the future for their well-being. And Senator McCain doesn't.
I have looked at John McCain's record since he's been in Congress. He does not support veterans' rights. His voting record on legislation that's important to veterans and their families is abysmal. He has voted for veterans less than 20% of the time. Barack Obama, on the other hand, has supported issues that are important to veterans and their families over 80% of the time. Most of your veterans organizations that give a letter grade to a congressman or a senator based on how they support veterans give John McCain a D-. They give Barack Obama a B. The VFW has never endorsed John McCain. The American Legion has never endorsed John McCain. It's written into the bylaws of the American Legion that they do not endorse presidential candidates.
I'm very proud of John McCain and proud of the service he gave to the country. I have a lot of compassion for him, and I was in Thailand at the time he was in his prison. Imprisonment ended, and I think a lot of him for a lot of those reasons. I just don't think he's the best guy for the job now.
I respect McCain's service, but a lot of us served. You know, I served.
I think having been in the military does not make a man the best choice to be commander-in-chief. You know, if it was, all of us would be. And I just don't see that that is a great issue, and not as far as I'm concerned.
As a veteran, I have no choice but to support Barack Obama.
I believe that a veteran should speak his own or vote his own conscience, not predicated on anything other than the fact that what is the right thing to do.
Whoever is elected will have a tough time. I'd rather see it be Obama. I believe with the war issues and those problems, I think he'll do a better job at reestablishing our relationship with our used-to-be friends and some of our enemies.
We need the smartest, most brilliant people that we can possibly get to run this country in a time of great need.
And we should be talking to our enemies as well as our friends, not hiding and staying at home and making idle threats. We've severed a lot of ties, and it's going to be a tough job to get those people back on friendly relationships with the United States. It needs to be done. I think Obama's the best guy to do that.
And I think Obama brings that spirit of hope back to the United States. And I think that's necessary for the United States on an international basis.
I feel extremely comfortable voting for Obama as my president.
I think we need to change.
Oh, vote for Obama. Absolutely.